Thousands of years ago, the world was tearing itself apart. Earth and heaven were separating, and in the chaos of that destruction, something terrible was born. Uandi, the most dangerous demon to ever exist. This wasn't just another monster. Uandi had one singular goal that consumed him completely. Rule over all three worlds. Hell, heaven, earth, everything. The gods sent their armies to stop him. They failed. Even the powers of Lord Buddha himself couldn't contain him. So Buddha sent his most trusted student to do what no one else could. With nothing but his life force and absolute conviction, that student defeated Uandi and imprisoned him under a sacred tree, sealing him away where he could never reach the world again. And for thousands of years, there was peace. Ujin sits across from Baji, painting this ancient legend with his words. But Baji isn't buying a single syllable of it. He's skeptical. This sounds like folklore, not history. But Ujin leans forward, completely serious. He tells Baji the proof is everywhere. Wherever Uandi walked, destruction followed like a shadow. Everything he touched twisted into something monstrous. This wasn't a myth. Their argument gets heated, the way friends' arguments do when one refuses to see what the other believes is obvious. So they do what makes sense. They go find their master. Monk Tang sits waiting, and when Baji arrives, the first thing out of his mouth is hunger. His stomach's growling, and he needs food. Tong understands. He's hungry too. But patience is what they have right now, not meals. Then there's a tremor, like the earth itself is responding to something. And Sun Wukong appears. Wukong's brought back a bowl of water. Just water. Baji's frustration erupts instantly. All that time, and you couldn't bring us anything to eat? Wukong's pride ignites just as fast. He's done his best, and here's Baji, criticizing him for it. Tang drinks the water, thanks Wukong sincerely, and that small moment of respect from the master smooths over the friction between his disciples. Tong understands something Baji doesn't yet. It's not about what Wukong brought back. It's about his effort. With that settled, the four of them begin their journey together, Monk Tong leading, his three disciples following, searching for ancient scriptures. The road stretches long, and eventually they arrive at the Wuzhang Temple. It's a quiet place to rest. Two young women emerge from inside, Bright Moon and Clear Breeze, caretakers of the temple. They recognize immediately that this is the group searching for the sacred scriptures, and they welcome them. Their master, Zheng Yuan, has stepped out for the day, so the caretakers offer hospitality while they wait for his return. Tong is led to a meditation chamber, a sacred space where he settles into contemplation. Meanwhile, Wukong, Baji, and Ujin explore the temple ground, curious, energetic, touching things, looking around, the way young people do when they're somewhere new. Then Baji overhears some. The caretakers are talking, and they mention it clearly. There's a secret fruit here, and they need to hide it from these guests. Baji immediately tells Wukong what he heard, and something wakes up inside Wukong at that moment, that spark of desire, of wanting something he shouldn't have. The two of them make a plan. They'll follow those caretakers to wherever this fruit is hidden. When the moment comes, they transform, shape-shifting to stay hidden, and slip into a secret chamber. Get up there! What they find stops them cold. There's a massive tree, magical and strange, with leaves completely white and fruit, unlike anything they've ever seen. The caretakers leave, and Wukong and Baji return to their normal form. Wukong extends his magical staff and breaks one of the fruits free from the branch. It falls, and Baji dives after it, reaching, almost catching it. But the moment it touches the ground, it vanishes completely. That's when Wukong realizes something's wrong. There's a demon here. With a pulse of his power, he pulls a hidden creature from the earth, a demon named Longevity. Wukong confronts him immediately. How dare you steal our fruit? But Longevity explains something Wukong didn't know. These aren't ordinary fruits. They're magical. Whenever they touch the ground, they disappear back into the earth because they only bloom once every 10,000 years. But here's the real power. Eat one, and you gain 50,000 extra years of life. Wukong's eyes light up. He doesn't hesitate. He goes back to the tree and gathers 3 more fruits. But the caretakers hear them, and they know immediately what's happened. They rush to the secret chamber, count their fruits, and realize 4 are gone. When they confront Wukong, his answer is defiant and honest. Yes, we took them. So what? The caretakers are furious, but worse than that. They accuse Monk Tang of being part of it, of being complicit in this theft. That's when Wukong's loyalty flares into something fierce. He steps forward and tells them the truth. I broke the fruits. I ate them. It was my doing, not my master's. Punish me. But the caretakers use their magical power to seal Wukong, to bind him in place. peace. Tong arrives and apologizes profusely, genuinely, trying to make peace. But the caretakers won't accept it. In their minds, the master must have known, must have approved. They refuse to believe Tong is innocent. That refusal breaks something in Wukong. He shatters the seal they placed on him.
Had one!
Raw power-breaking magical bonds, and the caretakers panic. They block his path and declare that no one leaves until their master arrives. That's it. Wukong makes a decision. If they won't let him leave, then he'll destroy the tree. All of it. In the distance, Zheng Yuan is approaching the temple with his companions. They hear what's happening, and Wukong acts. He smashes fruit after fruit from the branches, watching them disappear as they hit the ground, destroying the entire crop in moments. Then he extends his staff to its full, impossible length and brings the whole tree down in a single strike. When Zheng Yuan arrives and sees what's happened, he immediately surrounds the area with a barrier. Not to trap Wukong, but to contain something far worse. Inside that tree, sealed away, was something ancient. The demon sealed by Wandi thousands of years ago, and Wukong just freed it. In that same moment, the barrier cracks. Wandi emerges, stepping out into the world for the first time in millennia. His eyes find Monk Tang immediately, and recognition flashes across his face. He knows. This is the reincarnation of the one who sealed him. He takes Tong with him, disappearing before anyone can stop him. Zheng Yuan is devastated. Wukong and his friends are now trapped behind a new barrier, one they can't break. Zheng Yuan explains everything then. That tree wasn't just a fruit tree, it was a seal. Inside it was Uandi, the most catastrophically dangerous demon from an ancient age, and because of their recklessness, he's free now. He took Monk Tang because Tang's current life is the 10th incarnation of the one who imprisoned him thousands of years ago. Uandi wants Tong's power, wants to drain everything from him so he can reclaim control over all three realms. Wukong listens, and then he responds with absolute confidence. No demon has ever existed that I couldn't defeat. It's bold, maybe even arrogant, but it's also genuine. Zheng Yuan sees something in that conviction. Despite everything, he gives them a chance. Go save their master and stop Wandi. Wukong and his friends don't hesitate. They pack immediately, ready to leave. As they pack their bags, something slips inside without their notice. A strange glowing energy. Something alive. Here we see Uandi. Everywhere he goes, he destroys that place and turns creatures into a zombie. Then he enters the 5 Hill and relaxes there. Suddenly, bunch of demon along with their king enters and we're happy for today's feast. But when Uandi introduces himself, every demon bow down and respects him. Uandi tells them to take a good care of the monk, because after 3 days he will be back in his form. And then Demon Leader tells his army to go and attack Wukong. When Wukong and his friends set out with purpose, Baji's exhaustion catches up with him miles into the journey. He collapses, and that's when the energy emerges from the bag. At first, Baji and Ujin think they're seeing a god, but the glowing form shifts, condenses, becomes something more solid, and introduces himself. He's the same force that sealed Uandi thousands of years ago. He came out when Uandi broke free, pulled along with the Demon King into this world. Wukong doesn't believe him. He's skeptical, still processing everything, so he calls back the Longevity Demon and demands answers. Where is Uandi? The demon's response is simple: 5-element hill, and there's something else. The only way to seal Uandi is with this energy. With the creature standing right in front of them, Wukong throws the demon away, unconvinced. But then Ujin pulls out an ancient text. His eyes scan the pages, and he finds confirmation written in the old language. Whoever defeated Uandi in the past used exactly this kind of energy. The evidence is right there. Ujin's methodical, thorough research is what makes Wukong finally understand. It's not blind faith, it's history repeating itself.
Are those 3 demons trying to track me down?
Meanwhile, in Uandi's domain, the Demon King isn't worried about rescue. He sends his army of demons to kill Wukong and his companions before they can even get close. Monk Tang, trapped with him, holds on to one belief: his students will come. They always do. But Uandi just laughs at that hope. This will never happen. His certainty is absolute. But back on the road, Wukong and his friends walk with a mysterious energy they've now named Q. They're hungry, so they stop at a small village and eat. Baji eats everything in the restaurant. The villagers are terrified at the sight of them, creatures unlike anything they've ever seen. Then Q wanders to a fruit stall and devours every berry there. That's when the sky darkens, not with clouds, but with presence of demons. Wukong moves instantly. He takes Q, the energy that could be their salvation or their doom, and hides it inside a lamp. He knows the stakes. If Uandi kills Q, the seal becomes impossible. It's not a choice anymore. The demons flood in, attacking relentlessly. They don't just fight Wukong, they attack the villagers, twisting them into zombies, corrupting them into monsters. One demon grabs the lamp, and Wukong pursues with every everything he has. When Q bursts from the lamp, other demons give chase, pursuing it to an abandoned tower. Wukong erupts, all his power, all his fury, unleashed at once. Half the tower collapses under the force of his attacks, and the demons scatter in fear, running from the sheer intensity of what Wukong can do when he's fighting for something that matters. The sun rises. Q looks at the destruction around the village, the corrupted villagers, the damage, the suffering, and something breaks inside the energy. Q isn't just a force of power. There's humanity there somewhere, compassion. Q turning the twisted villagers back into themselves. But the effort costs Q deeply. The energy is depleted, so Q goes back to the fruit stall and eats. Just like that, the power returns, the energy is restored. Wukong sees this, and there's a moment where he smiles. There's something almost endearing about this powerful force that needs fruit the way anyone else needs food. Wukong summons his cloud, a living transport of pure magical essence, and they leave the village behind. When the defeated demons return to Uandi, the Demon King's rage is incomprehensible. He consumes them, and from his body, a massive wave of black negative energy erupts, spreading outward like a poison, heading directly toward Wukong. Wukong arrives at an empty temple with Baji and Ujin searching for a sage named Virupaksha, but the temple is abandoned. Then the dark energy erupts. It seeps into the temple, finds Virupaksha, and possesses him. The sage is no longer himself. He becomes a vessel for Uandi's corruption, attacking Wukong with movements that aren't his own. During the fight, Virupaksha's corrupted form summons something else, an evil creature designed to kill Wukong's friends. Ujin fights it, Baji fights it, but neither can land the killing blow. Then Ujin consults his book, frantically searching through ancient knowledge. He finds it. The creature dies if its face is sealed, if it can't breathe. Wukong doesn't hesitate. He pulls out strands of his own hair and wraps them tight around the creature's face. The creature dies, gasping, struggling against something as simple and absolute as the need for air. Then Wukong turns on Virupaksha. The possessed sage is powerful, but Wukong's stronger. He hits him hard enough to knock him unconscious, and when Virupaksha falls, the dark energy is forced out of him. It erupts from his body, destroying the temple around them, tearing through the structure. That black energy reaches for Q, but Q destroys it with their own power. The corruption is consumed. When Virupaksha wakes, he's horrified. His temple, his sacred space, his home is devastated. Wukong approaches him, and his question is urgent. Where is Uandi? Virupaksha looks at him strangely. You sealed him thousands of years ago. Wukong is confused by this. He's never been to the past, never sealed anything. Virupaksha understands the confusion. He tells Wukong to follow him, and as they walk, the sage explains, Uandi has been building an army, an entire force of demons, prepared, waiting. Q comes alongside them and says something that sounds certain. Don't worry, I have the power to seal Uandi. But Virupaksha's response is a warning, and it's heavy with something like dread. I don't think so. Q might have the power, yes, but sealing Uandi comes with a cost. Q will absorb all of Wukong's power in the process, and if that happens, Wukong won't survive it. There will be no second life, no rebirth, just death. Virupaksha points upward toward the mountain peak. That's where you'll find him. But the sage won't be coming. Virupaksha has spent centuries in that temple. He can't leave it now, not when it's already damaged. Before Wukong and his friends leave, Virupaksha repairs the damage with his own power, and then offers them a blessing, a prayer for their victory. At the mountain's peak, the demon army gathers. They sense it, the time is coming. 3 days have passed since Uandi was freed. Now, the Demon King will arrive in his true form. Every demon present feels the anticipation, the weight of that moment approaching. On the opposite side of the mountain, Wukong rests with Baji and Ujin, and they have a problem. Q is here. Powerful, essential, but dangerous. If they bring Q to Uandi, the Demon King will kill Q immediately, and the seal will be lost forever. They need another way. They need to hide Q. Wukong waits for Q to sleep. He watches, waiting for that moment when the energy finally rests, but Q doesn't seem interested in sleeping. Instead, Q asks Wukong something simple and almost childlike. What will you name me? Wukong looks at this glowing being, this force that's eaten fruit all day, that's silly and powerful and strange, and he names it with affection. Wukong tells Q to sleep now. Baji and Ujin are already resting, and Wukong needs to do what comes next. But Q talks to him in the darkness, a conversation between the human and the energy. We'll fight together tomorrow. We'll defeat Uandi and save your master. There's certainty in Q's voice. Belief. Wukong agrees. He finds peace in that promise. Then he goes to a nearby mountain, and Q finally sleeps. When Q's eyes close, Wukong acts. He surrounds the sleeping energy with a barrier, sealing Q into place. It's necessary, it's protection, but it's also betrayal in a way, leaving this being alone, locked away, unable to help when the moment comes. It has to be this way. Wukong and his friends continue their journey. By the next morning, they arrive at the battlefield, and what they see stops them cold. The entire demon army has assembled. Uandi's forces stretch across the mountain in an impossible number. The fight isn't about to begin. The fight is here. Ujin attacks first, using his water techniques with precision and power, channeling liquid force against the demon horde. Baji enlarges himself, becomes massive, and brings his full weight down down on demons around him. It's coordinated, skilled, but it's also overwhelming. The numbers are too many. Then demons surround Wukong completely. They close in from all sides, a cage of claws and darkness. Wukong responds by pulling out his own hair and transforming each one into a tiny clone of himself. An entire army of Wukongs, small and fast and deadly. They tear through the surrounding demons, and for a moment Wukong gains ground. Then Uandi arrives. The real Demon King steps into the battlefield, and everything changes. He moves through his own army like a force of nature, destroying demons around him without care or hesitation. This is a being that has transcended normal limitation. Wukong charges forward, pure anger and determination. He attacks Uandi continuously, landing blow after blow, asking with each strike, "Where is my master?" His attacks are relentless, and for a moment, it feels like he's winning. Then Uandi rises again, and he pulls out his weapon, a golden ring heavy with power, ancient and absolute. When he swings it, he doesn't just hit Wukong. Ujin goes down, Baji goes down. Wukong is brutalized, bleeding, broken. Uandi throws Wukong away from the battlefield, and that's when Q feels it. Eyes open in the sealed mountain. Q realizes the barrier, understands the separation, and the energy begins to struggle against the seal. Uandi then goes to Wukong and attacking again in order to kill Wukong, but then Ujin and Baji tries to stop him, so he killed both Ujin and Baji. Uandi walks toward the barrier where Q is trapped. He begins attacking it, trying to break through, and Wukong, broken as he is, forces himself back to defend the barrier. Q watches this from inside the seal and begins to cry. The powerful energy is crying because the people it cares about are dying. Then Uandi brings Monk Tang to the field. Tang, weakened and captured, is brought before Wukong so the Demon King can do what he's really wanted all along. Uandi opens his mouth and he consumes Tang's soul, right in front of Wukong. The master, the one who showed respect, is consumed. Q tries to break free and offer power directly to Wukong to merge to give everything, but Wukong refuses. He won't let Q sacrifice itself. Not like this. Uandi grabs Wukong by the throat and tells him the truth as Uandi sees it. Accept defeat. Wukong's response, "I will never accept defeat," and Uandi beats him for that refusal. Beat him until Wukong is barely alive. But that's when Q stops crying. The energy attacks Uandi with everything it has. Q's power is immense, but Uandi has something Q didn't expect. He has Monk Tang's power now. The Demon King uses that to counter Q, to overwhelm the energy, to defeat it completely. Q falls. And as Q falls, its power flows directly into Wukong's heart. Wukong transforms. Not just a change in power level, a fundamental shift. This is Wukong's true, ultimate form, a state that was always possible but never necessary until now. And in that form, Wukong becomes something Uandi has never faced. The real battle begins. Wukong attacks with absolute precision and overwhelming force. He breaks Uandi's arms, he breaks Uandi's legs. Then Wukong raises his staff, the same weapon he's carried through everything, and brings it down with the full weight of his true power. Uandi is destroyed. The dark energy that made him begins to dissipate, to fade, to become nothing. And Q's power, released now, flows through the world. It touches Ujin. Baji returns to consciousness, gasping for breath. The two of them are alive again. Then Q's power reaches further. It touches Monk Tang, and the master returns, alive, restored, whole. Wukong transforms back to his normal form. The three of them see their master, and there's this moment of absolute joy. Everything they fought for, everything they risked, was worth it. Tang blesses them with genuine gratitude and love. They go to the Wuzhong Temple, the place where this all began. They work with Zhengyuan and the others to seal Uandi again, to put the Demon King back where he belongs. And the magical tree, the one Wukong destroyed, grows back. The fruit blooms again. The balance is restored. The world is at peace again. Hope you all enjoyed this kind of story stuff. Comment below if you guys want more. And yeah, don't forget to subscribe the channel and watch my other stuff, please. See you all soon. Until then, love you all. Bye.